Hello everyone. Welcome to the episode of the Alumni Reflect 2.0. So today we have Mr. Shubhank Saxena, who is currently studying in the Northeastern University and has been a pass out of Thapar University, Patiala. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We, it's great to have you on the podcast today. So let's just jump into the questions. So was engineering a choice or an option for you?
I think yes, it was always an option. It was always a choice for me. In fact, my parents they asked me when I was in my class, when I was entering in my class 11, that hey, do you want to maybe pursue commerce or something? I was like, no, I'm okay. I want to probably do science because I kind of like engineering. I've always been
Hmm.
into making some house projects, home projects, and stuff like that. So I felt like engineering is definitely an option for me.
That's great having interests and pursuing the same. So, do you have a memorable story from your hostel days that stands out?
So I think it was from Hostel J. I
Hmm.
remember there was this IPL match that was happening, and next
Hmm.
day I think we have had mid semesters. So I think it was a difficult one. I don't remember the subject. It was somewhere in second year, but I think it was Chennai versus Mumbai finals. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
what I remember. So all of us, we just, it was like, okay, you know what, let's just forget about the exam. Let's maybe, IPL match is more important. That too, Chennai versus Mumbai, right? So
Yeah.
we ordered a lot of food. There were like 11, 12 of us sitting in front of the TV screen. It was almost as if we were in the match itself, like over there, physically in the stadium. I think that experience is what kind of sums up the college life because you have fun, right? You are with your
Yeah.
friends and all. So I
Exactly.
think that would be a good memorable memory for me.
So, can the students today say that El Clasico is greater than any MST?
I mean, makes sense, right? And Classico only happens rarely. MSTs you almost give it what every semester. So yeah,
Uh, so,
I kind of agree.
so what was your favorite hangout spot during the college and why?
Um, I think it would be mostly I think G Block and all the shops around it. Only reason is
Hmm.
because after classes we used to just hang out there, eat, do a bunch of gossip, sit around with people, stuff. So yeah, I think G Block would be the place.
So, what was the kind of the landscape like when you were studying? Were the Nirvana path, the Jaggi block, and the Cos block all was present?
Yes, they're gone. I think Nirvana I do know because when I left my undergrad, my brother for undergrad, I think I saw Nirvana being converted to a hospital. Yeah, but at that point of time, all of them.
Okay, that's great. Like, were you involved in any college societies or activities which influence your personal and professional growth?
So in my first year, I started with two societies, Econ Club and Creative Computing Society, CCS.
Hmm.
Yeah, those were the
Hmm.
two. And they were kind of influential in a way because I met a lot of good people. I
Hmm.
eventually met my hackathon teammates from CCS and even the other members of who started GDSC with me. I think we can probably come to them later. But
Yeah.
I think a lot of personal, I don't say any professional growth as such, but
Hmm.
personal in a way that you have to think of this way, right? A student from class 12 who took in his time and effort for JE engineering, did not have any social life, suddenly comes up
Hmm.
to a university, and now you have a bunch of people who work together for a common goal, or let's say have common goal in their mind, right? So it just gives you like a
Yeah.
sense of community. And so I think personally, definitely, yeah, to be in a community, talk to people, share same concerns and everything. So that was like a good
Yeah.
influence for me.
Well, that's great. So, how did your college experience really prepare you for your career?
I think so. You guys study around 6 or 7 subjects in a semester, right? So
Maybe
I
more
think
than that. Like,
definitely,
I'm having it.
yeah, I'm assuming more than that now. So time
Yeah.
management is definitely one of the things that I learned from my undergrad days because juggling 7 subjects a semester, trying. trying to find out time for your own personal things like, slacking, binge watching, stuff like that. Um, I think time management was definitely one thing that I really learned a lot from experience. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
anything in a professional manner because I did my undergrad in electronics and communication, but now I'm pursuing computer science, like information
Yeah.
systems. So, not to say about the subject as such, but definitely a lot of social skills, time management.
Hmm.
Yeah, these probably were the two key highlights from my college that have shaped a lot of things during my entire lecture.
Okay, so before we move on to something professional, would you like to share some mischiefs you created in the college or some fun?
Yeah, well, I really wasn't that mischievous kind of a kid because honestly, I usually used to sit in my room and during after classes I used to go out with my friends. But
Hmm.
I remember of an incident. It's very funny. Did not
Hmm.
involve me directly, but it was literally in front of my room. So when we were in our first year hostel C, we were in A
Yeah.
wing, right? And
Okay.
in our batch, A wing was notoriously known for causing mischiefs, like all kind of pranks and
Hmm.
stuff. So I think it was first year ending, and before our final exam, after our final exam, the next morning when I woke up and got out of my room, I saw a cycle, like a full-fledged cycle,
Yeah.
levitating in between the ground, tied by almost every possible rope of clothes that was there in A wing with pillars and everything. So, if, for those of you who have seen Hostel A, so it's a ground right between the A block, and then you have
Hmm.
cycle in the air with that cycle tied with every possible rope. So they basically at night they collected all the ropes that were out there for people who like people used to use that rope to basically put on the clothes and everything for drying, right? So they took out all that ropes and they levitated the cycle. So that was a funny incident, anecdote that I
Yeah.
remember of. But personally, I never. I guess I never got the time or never got the you could say like motivation to do anything.
Well, that was something fun. Did it
It
fall on
was.
someone?
No, it wasn't. It did not. It did not.
Okay, so the prank didn't end very successfully though.
I think the prank was just to make sure that cycle levitates and people are able to see it before we go home. So I guess that was the prank. The intention of the prank.
Maybe. Okay, so before we move to the next spicy thing, let's cover up something related to work or profession. So, can you share the story behind finding the GDSE chapter? Like, what motivated you to take this initiative?
So I don't know very much about the current scenario of Harper,
Hmm.
but during that my time, I think one of the key issues that I personally found out was there was a lot of focus just on how do you get a job, right?
Yeah,
And at that point of time, I don't think nobody was asking the right questions of like how do you get to be a good engineer. And when I say engineer, I'm specifically talking about computer science because again that was something that I was motivated, I was interested in. And so just for the conversation, whenever I say engineer, it's basically a computer science engineer. But
yeah, sure.
with all of the other communities, and I mean no shade to them because they were having their own thing. But the issue was that you still need you. We had no group of people or any kind of influence which would guide us to work on ourselves with our skills, rather than just focusing the tricks how to get a job.
Hmm.
So this is where that GDSC thing kicked in. And one more, probably the other motivation for personally me was that before our batch, we never had a culture of hackathons, which is very weird because like in a college like ours, which had so much strength, people were just not interested to participate in hackathon.
Hmm.
So I think GDSC's other entire motivation was to help people, go out for hackathons, help them out to pick up skills, meet people, build great products. I think the entire foundation of GDSC was laid on build great projects. Even when we started it, we never had a closed society kind of a culture. Anyone was allowed to join or like welcome to join, but rather we
Yeah,
had some people who used to just manage. And I think the entire foundation of GDSC was based on this, that okay, we are picking up these projects. let's say there are
Hmm.
these 6 projects that we would love to cover up this in this semester. Would you love to be part of it? You know what? If you are willing to exhibit skills to learn or motivation to learn, join us. We'll help you out build those projects in a together collaborative manner. So yeah.
Yeah. So like, was it your hackathon team that helped you form it, or was it some other group of people who joined GDSC
Oh,
with you?
definitely it was hackathon team. I So one of my friends, so one of my school friends was already a member of GDSC in his college, and he did
Okay.
kind of like tell me about this, and I was like, okay, you know what, Apple does not have it. It's good to have Google support in some things, and I anyway was looking to start a new community, so I thought, hey, why not use GDSC as a platform to do that and put in that cultural influence that let's build projects rather than just optimizing ourselves to get jobs. So yeah, that's
Lit-
where. So I think
lit-
it was all of my entire hackathon team effort. We were 6 of us in combined like. So yeah, we started GDSC. GDSC was basically a cumulative idea of all of us.
Well, it did really work. Like GDSC is still now known for having the best workshops and hackathons in Thapar.
I'm glad that the culture is still there. I Because most of the societies or communities, and it's not just related to Thapar, I think this can be applied to in general, they tend to lack vision until and unless, or
Yeah.
they tend to decline in their vision until and unless there's always a constant check. And if this is the case with GDSC, I'm glad that it is still how it is.
Your voice is cracked.
Is it audible?
Yeah, it's audible now. So talking about GSOC, you have already cleared that some time ago, and I guess you are a mentor in some company for GSOC this time.
No, I actually wanted to, but unfortunately, I did not get the time for that. So I did not. I was not able to mentor it. I was almost in the talks, but it never happened because of some personal reasons.
Okay, so like, can you walk us through the application process for GSOC? Like, it's so tough to get clear.
So I think with GSOC, probably is just that you need to understand your tech stack. That's the most important thing that a lot of people, do not consider very well as as like a thing that needs to be done before you apply for GSOC. So I'll give you like a small example of how it happened for me. Maybe.
Yeah.
So for me, I knew that I was quite proficient in Python during my second or third year. And
Yeah.
then I started to apply for a lot of organizations. And in my third year, my first attempt, I actually applied to Mozilla.
Hmm.
But I think I did not understand the depth of the project as such. And that's why I was not selected for it. So
Yeah.
that kind of taught me a few things that even though I knew Python, just knowing a language won't help. There are a lot of things, a lot of skills that are required for open source contribution. The way you communicate, because it's an async team, right? Open source people
Yeah.
are across the globe, and you need to be mindful of the cultural differences, time zone differences. So you just need to be very clear and thorough with the communication. I think I did lack that in my third year because that was again my first attempt to resolve. I was not
Mhm.
very. I did not articulate well my thoughts enough to put it into the chat, and my mentor had to like do a lot of to and fro, which kind of is frustrating for them because
Yeah.
a mentor does not get paid for GSOC. So that's one point that every one of us or like any potential candidate who's applying to GSOC should understand that they are doing out of their own time.
Hmm.
So it's always frustrating if things are not cleared or get set in the first go of the attempt itself. So communication
Yeah.
is definitely one of the things. Proposal is a very, very important thing. I mean, I don't think this call would be sufficient enough for us to talk about the proposals. But if like I could maybe share in some previous proposals for anyone who's interested to look into, so that
Yeah, it
you
would
could
be
be
very
guided.
helpful.
Yeah, I think, but most important thing, just whoever your mentor is, you should have a good communication with that person.
Hmm.
You should not bother them, and just keep doing your work. I think maybe I don't know. Maybe if anyone would love to have like a detailed conversation, they can like drop in a message to me on LinkedIn and stuff. But yeah, essentially, it's just that you need to be very persistent and you need to know your stuff. because competition is
So,
quite high. Even though people say that GSOC is not a competition, it kind of is, right? Because for every proposal, for every project, you never know how many people are applying. I think now it's very difficult for you guys because GSOC has now opened it up for everyone. Because I
hmm,
was the last batch when it was only just for undergrad, just for students.
it made us competitive, maybe.
It made it more competitive for you guys.
So, like, how did it influence you, like, working for a company at GSOC and doing some open source contributions? How did it influence your personal growth as well as professional, except your resume?
Yeah. So I and believe it or not, I never did GSOC. Like my intention of doing GSOC was never just for the resume because I was aware of GSOC when I was in my school days. So
Yeah.
GSOC was kind of something like for me for my personal achievement. Right, it was like if
Hmm.
I know that I am somewhat of a good programmer, I need to
Hmm.
be part of GSOC. And again, this is no metric. This was just something personally that I set for myself, right? Anyone who's listening out there, this is not a metric of a good programmer. I know great programmers who haven't done GSOC, and they are way greater than me. But it's just that I think that hard work or persistence that I had to put in towards doing GSOC and not just GSOC, like making my I think shaping myself into a professional developer
Hmm.
just so that I could, be part of GSOC was definitely has definitely helped me in the longer run as well. And while working for a company, so you think of it this way, I think one of the reasons why most of the GSOC students out there are, you know, seen with a great respect when let's say
Hmm.
GSOC is in a resume because this probably is one of the easiest way for you to get a professional experience while you are in your undergrad days because you get to work on a company in a remote setting in a proper company manner. Like you do version control system, you do pull requests, you learn the art of software engineering, not just coding, but an entire software engineering pipeline. So if let's say, and I think that helped very well when I landed my first job because I remember very distinctly that the hiring manager first question was that could you briefly explain the experience that you had in Google Summer of Code? And when I
Hmm.
did, I think the first thing that the person said was that you are probably one of the only hires that we have, or one of the only potential hires that have spoken about the entire software development life cycle, which is a rare. And I understand because a lot of us in our undergrad days don't really get that exposure to work on a project of a scale,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So GSOC, I think this is one of the reasons why GSOC is like kind of respected in the tech community, especially when you are getting hired in something. But for me personally, it did make me a good programmer, a good software engineer. Like all the virtues of software engineering, the ways you contribute, communicate, develop, set rules that I'm still carrying on with my life in my professional journey.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, like, can we say that having it as a personal milestone made it an obsession for you, like throughout your
Oh,
programming journey?
definitely yes. Definitely yes. Because I just wanted to be the best programmer out there. And yeah, I did personally, yeah, you could say it this way that I personally had an obsession with, I want to be a G-Soccer. So that has influenced a lot of things for me.
So that's a great obsession to have. Did you did
Yeah.
you apply for some other internships or scholarships like MyTax or DAT for Germany?
Unfortunately, I never had that a good of an undergrad CGPA. So I think my tax and dad were kind of like not an option for me.
Hmm.
But I think apart from GSOC, I also did my MLH fellowship. I don't know if that's still a thing.
Haven't heard of it yet.
So you heard of MLH, like Major League Hacking?
I haven't.
Okay. So yeah, those were the only two programs I think in third year that I started, and then because I had my final semester, so I never got the chance to even apply for any other programs.
Yeah. So also having, I guess you have an SIH as well. So how was your experience there at an offline hackathon?
Oh, SIH was like one of the best hackathons that I've ever been to because so by the way, just for the context, this was not my first hackathon. This was
Okay.
probably my eighth hackathon or sixth or eighth hackathon,
Yeah.
and before that we've actually won almost like three or four. So I
Mhm.
had a pretty much experience of what hackathons are with my team.
Yeah.
But most of our hackathons were in Delhi region. We went to Allahabad. It was close by. But this first
Yeah.
hackathon was in Kerala. So we had a gala tech. My
Yeah.
team flew there. We for I think it was 24, 48 hours. I think 48 or
48
72,
hours
close to
hackathon.
72. Yeah,
48. Yeah.
48, 72 between that. We had like good amount of fun and because we already prepared a lot of things from here, like we understood, we knew what we were supposed to do, and we took a lot of planning, so it was very
Yeah.
fun. It was like a breeze. Obviously there were hiccups, as every hackathon has it, but then the satisfaction of winning after that was definitely a big one. And then we went for a party. I mean, I think we drove from the center, we drove to some other coastal city, and then we had fun. So that is definitely. But again, getting to the SIH itself, the experience was very good because SIH is one of the most prestigious hackathons in our India, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was fun, and I think we did it in my second year, so it kind of was a big deal at that point of time because I think we were the youngest team. I'm not sure, but I think we were the youngest team in our year when we won.
Well, that's great. So like what was the project you really did for the SIH?
Okay, so we were under Cisco project. Cisco had this camera called as Meraki, and their entire tech around it. So, according to by the Build in India, this thing, which is the entire
Hmm.
phenomena of asking companies and everyone to build in India, they were basically trying to install these cameras at public places. And the
Yeah.
goal was that there should be some kind of crowd management and estimation on based of Meraki's system.
Hmm.
So our goal was that we installed this camera at public places, and the goal was that if let's say you are someone who's deciding to step out of your house to go to that public place, let's say I don't know, bank, post office, or railway ticket booking, you should get a current view scenario of the current crowd control over there, and maybe
Hmm.
some estimates of when this would be less crowded and stuff. Again, all because of machine learning and everything. So we
Yeah.
kind of built an entire backend system both for consumers as well as admins of the places. Because if let's say this camera is installed in bank, we
Hmm.
actually gave a dashboard to an admin and saying, hey, you know what, this particular person has not been on his seat for this amount of time and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think, and then the goal was not just to cater the people around that place, but if let's say you are someone you're visiting in hospital, and let's say if you're in a village, it takes you around 4 to 5 hours just to commute one side. Wouldn't it be nice if I could give you an estimate of, hey, you know what, you won't be able to get into a booking today because it is this and this crowded.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was an entire build. So we not only focused for people around the place, but also people far away, and features like making it on non-feature phones, like drop a message onto a phone, let's say like Nokia 1100 in local languages, uh, on phones, systems, and all. It was like a comprehensive package. We built everything. So yeah,
And it
that
must
was
have
fun.
been a real lifesaver.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Cisco's India VP being over there, and
Hmm.
he did actually compliment this in a way. He said that you guys are probably the only team who have actually thought about everything. You have covered all your bases. So I think that product thinking, and again, these are the things that, like, you asked like a previous question, right? What are the things that influenced your personal and this thing? I think these hackathon experiences were definitely one of them, because whenever we used to build something, we used to get a lot of feedback. Not every hackathon
Yeah.
was a good one, but you still get a lot of feedback, right? And all the feedback and everything, all product forward thinking, it does influence you in a very good way, because now whenever I think of a product, I always remember all the feedback that I had with all of the mentors in the hackathon. So now I know what a product should actually look like. again, to everyone who's listening to this podcast, it's never about just engineering. If you are working at a product facing company, it's always about the product. So just take these are some of the experiences, and SIH was definitely one of them.
Considering SIH was one of your like few hackathons later than your first hackathon, what was the first hackathon experience? Like how tough it had been?
Oh, it was very good. So I still remember the first one. It was in Cluster Innovation Center. This is one of the universities in Delhi, Delhi University. So we just went there and we decided to build a project, a portable braille reader. I don't. I
Mhm.
mean, it's basically in a nutshell, it's like you have six dots as an actuators. So with braille, you basically have those six dots being repeated across all the characters, and you read left to right with the finger. But the thing is
Yeah.
that at the end of the day, it's just the combinatorics of those six dots. So
Mm.
we basically placed six actuated motors below a sheet, say cross two, and you just place your finger over there, and the dots they just move from below, like different dots. So you don't have to move your finger left to right. Just keep your finger at one place, saving cost. That's all. But I think an attempt to build an end-to-end product with I wish I could have shared a picture with you guys, like with you. Well, it was a mess. We took a plastic box, we put in Raspberry Pi, battery, power supply, no, sorry, battery, some hats on top of it, jumper cables, and then we closed the box with the lid with the soldering iron. We made 3x2 holes, 6 holes into it. We put a motor on top of it. We hot glued it. So I think it was just about the experience of building an end-to-end product. That was always probably that was always an obsession of our team. That do not make half-baked projects.
Hmm.
It has to be a complete product to showcase. So that
Exactly.
experience was very good. We got our feedback and everything, and we won. By the way, our first hackathon, and we won.
That's
So
great.
that's a great flex point, like for all of
Yeah.
us. Like first hackathon, yeah, I won it.
Yeah, like I didn't win my first, so it still pinches sometimes.
Oh, but that's perfectly okay. I think we just got lucky. I don't know. First hackathon, I never heard anyone winning their first hackathon. For us, somehow it worked out.
So that's a good thing to flex on.
So definitely
And it
yes.
is well deserved as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so do you have something spicy to share about the college? Maybe faculty, students, or hostels even?
Uh, I don't know how much of a trouble I can get into sharing stuff, but
We won't get into it, don't worry. We'll cut it
okay,
if it feels bad.
okay. So I think I never kind of liked the way you know our entire uh, I would say the class culture thing happened
Hmm.
because all I could see was just professors coming into class and opening up their PowerPoint presentation and just going on. It was like one of the most boring times of my entire college journey,
Exactly.
and it did not make any sense at all, at least to me. I know there were people who used to sit in the first row, and even the presentations were good for them. But
Hmm.
man, for me, it was very difficult to just go through presentations and get a hang of everything. I don't know. It's just maybe things have changed. I don't know. It's been long that I've left out the university, but yeah, I think that was probably one of the things that I hated the most. And I don't think of it as more of a spicy thing. I think most of students actually agree on it.
Yeah, it is. Like the class culture can be boring at times.
Yeah. Again, as I said, I really did not had anything spicy. I never did anything. It's just that even if I tried to, it never mounted to anything. I probably just never had time.
A busy engineer, always a good engineer.
I mean, I try to have fun in my university days, that's for sure. I mean, again, there are few things that I would love to omit from this podcast, but I had fun. It's just that I never had anything scandalous or spicy, if you would say. So, yeah, that's that.
Okay. Okay, so how's your experience staying at a outside university in US, like studying there? How's that culture different?
Oh, it's different in a lot of ways. Like not just the university. I mean, as countries as well. You know, it's just quite different. So I'm currently based out of Boston. So I think weather. First thing would weather. I mean, uh, winters are extreme. We have snowfall,
Mm.
and last winter was very terrible. You have sunset at 4 o'clock in the winters. There's complete darkness by 4:15. Summers are weird. Sunset is around 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock. So it's weird. Yeah, but I think apart from that, even the university life has been very good. Northeastern is definitely one of the good colleges out there.
Yeah.
Um, I think anyway in master's courses you don't have that much of a course workload because we are just allowed to take 2 subjects per semester, 4 credits
Yeah.
each. So that takes up our entire week. So it's hardly 2 classes, but the coursework is quite heavy in that week. So number of classes are still the same, like just the 2. But I think one of the biggest cultural differences in terms of education is because I feel like the masters and I don't know education in general in US is quite practical oriented. There are a lot of things and skills and projects that you build during your coursework that is very practical in nature. You exactly know how and why you are using these tech stacks. So I'll just give you an example. Like last semester, I took like a cloud computing course, and
Mm.
believe it or not, whatever I've learned so far in that cloud thing, because it was kind of new for me. I did have work experience before this, but never dabbled into cloud that much. I've actually implemented a lot of things that I learned in the coursework in my current internship, which is hardly what. Uh, it's basically third or fourth month after I just completed that subject. So I'm literally applying this thing that I learned in last semester in the current job that I have right now. So this is one thing I've definitely never. I mean, I never felt in India.
Mm.
So that is definitely like a big cultural, like educational influence or like a difference between you would say like Indian and US university.
So how's your friend group different? Like you have must have had a friend group in Thapar University and now one in the Northeastern University. So what kind of differences you feel in the life you spend with your friends?
So for everyone, like undergraduate days, I don't know. I've always said this to everyone around me when I was in my undergrad days. Said undergraduate days are your life's best days because
Hmm.
you can make as many mistakes as you want. You have 4 years to do whatever you want, and there will be
Yeah.
no repercussions because you're constantly learning, right?
Yeah.
You just can't afford to have that in masters because masters is hardly 2 years. I
Exactly.
think I think all the friend groups have sort of become a little bit more professional because, and I think it's not just a northeastern and Harper thing. I mean, I've grown up, right?
Yeah.
It's been 3 years since I've left my. Oh no, not even 3 years. 21, right? So yeah, three to 4 years since I left my undergrad days.
Hmm.
So a lot of maturity kicks in with your friend group, and you see a lot of walks of people in masters. So in masters, not only people who are students, I've
Hmm.
met people who have come with experience of 5 to 6 years of work experience and then joined their master's course. So their level of
Yeah.
maturity is definitely like on a very different level. I think now the term is that we are adults. So you never had that much student life fun that you had in
Hmm.
undergrad days. But I think apart from that, uh, I think it's quite supportive to have someone here in a foreign country, to call your friend,
Yeah.
to hang out with them because it does become kind of lonely sometimes. Because you're away from home, you're away from the country. So yeah, I think that was probably like I think the difference between both the friend groups is just that we used to have a lot of childish fun as well, but now it's masters. You
Hmm.
don't have time basically.
Exactly. So do you miss home?
Oh yeah, definitely every day. Uh, uh, I think Indian food is definitely the one. And I literally have a list of all the things that I would love to eat whenever I'm back home, and it's all you could imagine, like every kind of street food. But apart from that, I think definitely missing home because for me, the last 1.5 years of my undergrad were at home because of COVID, and then
Hmm.
even my first job was completely remote. So I was there for a solid 3 to 4 years at my home. So I do
Yeah.
kind of miss home. I But it's okay. I think I miss my home, but I still feel like it's a good experience because now I'm out there learning new things, learning to be part of a new culture, outgrowing myself because I'm here, right? it balances it out. I do miss it, but there are other factors that balance it out.
Does coming to Thapar University, meeting us, your faculty members, come in your bucket list?
Oh yeah, I've actually wanted to meet everyone, but I'm not very sure of the timing because I'm probably coming like in the month of December. So I think you guys are having your end semesters, and if I come later than that, then you guys have holidays. So I'm not very sure of the timeline, but I'll let you know. We'll definitely
Yeah,
meet.
I'll be the surely one of the guys meeting you. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll meet.
So we'll be concluding the podcast now. So do you have something, some advice for the freshers or the students, anyone?
I think I would probably just say one thing. I know it's very difficult out there. I think the most of us, as soon as we land up in college, we start worrying about the jobs, and I get it.
Yeah.
It's a fair worry because I mean it's an everything is expensive out there. It's not easy. It's not cheap. And most of the people who do engineering, they only do for the sole purpose that they want to get hired in a big company. But I think in that race, we all tend to forget the skills that we need to develop to be a successful engineer.
Hmm.
So again, like focus on skills first. If you are skillful enough, you'll have the confidence to crack any job interviews that you would want to. And this has been true for almost everyone in the group that I have. We all never focused on jobs, hackathons, project building, community building, and I think at this point of time, I don't recall of anyone who's not doing what they wanted to do. I would not. I mean, success of definition is different for everyone, but
Yeah.
like my hackathon group, out of 4 people, 3 are pursuing their masters. One of the person is like a head DevOps engineer at a company. Other friends that I know of are working at great startups. One of my juniors is working. He was working in Fampe. He quit over there. He joined a new startup after that. So every one of us is having a good life in whatever
Yeah.
standards or metrics you want to put in. But the only thing that we all shared was we first focused on our skills.
Hmm.
Then the running behind just the job. So yeah, just that advice.
Well, considering CG is considered so important for landing a job or maybe even off campus these days, so is it comfortable for you to share your CG so that?
Yeah, I mean it's okay. It's my undergrad GPA, so it was 7.62. So I think again on campus definitely it's a cutoff because you need to filter out, and I totally understand like universities policy
Hmm.
because there are so many students you need to cut off students on, and this is the only metric that these guys know of, right? GPA.
Yeah.
Again, my GPA was definitely not good, and whoever is listening out there, please focus on your GPA. GPA is important. Even when I was applying for my masters, because this is an academia, right? You need to,
Yeah.
no matter how good of an engineer you are, whenever you are in academia, till the time you are in academia, you need to prove your worth in academia. Have a decent
Exactly.
enough GPA. 8.5 would do the trick. Anything above 8.5 would do the trick. It's all same after that. So just have that much, and yeah, I don't think it matters that much in off campus. But anyway, it never mattered for me. I may have been the lucky ones, but yeah, that's their answer.
Thank you for giving your time. It has been a great podcast.